All right. Well, joining us now, Caw-caw! For the first time ever, very excited to be welcoming Lady Decade to the show. How are you?
I'm I'm all right. I've written a lot of notes. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't stream probably as much as I should do. So I'm hoping that my camera presence will be okay.
You look
There's
great.
thank
you,
you.
you look wonderful. We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. And so you're on today because you're kind of breaking like a big story, which I think you're the first person I've seen talk about this, and you did a giant video about this, which I think just to kind of preface everybody here, it's like a 45-minute video where you're talking about it hasn't like truly taken off yet, but I do think it's going to take off. About 25,000 views. I think this is going to blow up after we talk about this here. The video is called I Wish I Didn't Learn the Truth. And it's a 47-minute video here. I encourage everyone, once again, go to the Lady Decade channel and, of course, do what I'm going to do right here and hit the subscribe button, get the little animation, and go watch this entire video. Okay, it's really important that you do because we watched it. And do I call you Lady or Decade or what should I call you as I'm speaking to you?
You can call me LD. A lot of people call me LD.
Okay, so LD. Give us a rundown, just as we walk us through this discovery here of what you found and how Gina Davis, the American actor or actress, may be the final boss of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So I was doing some research for my video, which was prior to this one, which was my own takes on the uglification of gaming. And it's as I was doing the research for that I saw the name Gina Davis come up in the web pages, results, etc. And I was like, what's she got to do with any of it? Because obviously I know Gina Davis from watching like Thelma and Louise and um like Beetlejuice and stuff. But so I literally clicked on the website and I don't know whether I can share my screen at all on
Yeah,
this, but
absolutely. Down on the bottom of your screen, you see a little gear. Next to it looks like a little monitor, and you'll be able to share that way. Phoenix will get you taken care of that way. So,
okay.
yeah.
I think.
There we go.
Aha.
Yep.
Right, there we go. I've got everything in order.
All right, let's
Um,
do it.
so yeah, I literally ended up on this website here, and I was like, "That is Gina Davis. That's not like another Gina Davis. That is the Gina Davis." But first thing you see, who are we? For 20 years, and I'm like, this lady's coming up in all of this research, reinventing, transforming, and inspiring how global creators authentically portray the world.
And this is
So,
the Gina Davis Institute. This was a charity that she started up 20 years
mhm,
ago.
yep. So
Okay.
if you and I fully encourage everyone watching this, like when you've got some time, go on this website. Or it's two websites, in fact, but go on both of these websites and just look through, and the gravity of it will hit you. So, and this is the main part that, in my opinion, separates them from companies like Sweet Baby, because
Mm-hmm.
it's research. So they're going to these companies and being like, you have to do this because um so yeah, but on this particular page, you've got our impact, trusted resource for industry change, 2024 survey of our partners and collaborators shows the measurable influence of our work. And then it's saying that the institute's being impactful, blah blah blah. It's basically quite a foreboding bit of information here. So basically, nearly 95% believe the institute has been impactful. 80% have used GDI research to inform their work in entertainment and media. Um, Sorry.
So this, correct me if I'm wrong. This whole thing started when Gina Davis was watching TV. She was watching like kid
Mhm.
shows, and she's like, "Hey, there's not enough female characters here," and so
Correct.
she started the Gina Davis Institute, and the idea was for more inclusion when it comes to primarily kid shows, but also just media as a whole.
Yeah.
And it started in media, and they started partnering with people to, I guess, the idea was, um, hey, partner with us and just commit to us that you're going to put more diversity and women in your shows. And then ultimately that went from TV and movies, and now we're into video games, which is where it
Yeah.
gets to now.
So I don't know whether many of you can recall 2004, but in 2004 I was 15 years old and I was watching Nickelodeon, Disney, and then in England CITV and CBBC, which I've noticed you've actually got a CBBC meme that you use on your on this podcast.
We're just normal men. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that animatronic dog, or that puppet, sorry. But yeah, basically there was plenty of diversity around back in those days. Like everyone could remember, even as far back as the 80s, like Sesame Street, plenty of diversity on that. But apart from the fact that that's obviously bullshit, she's obviously around 2004 got through another marriage and thought, tell you what, I'm bored. What meaningful contribution can I have to society here? So, yeah, that's where we end up with this website that she's on. But if you go in the search bar and type in video games, which I'd done earlier, you've got 21 results here. So showing 1 of 6. So the role of age in video games, representations of video games. And these are all of their essentially research quotas. So what I think it is I think she's come up with a conclusion and then got research to support a conclusion, if that makes sense.
Right. Which is, you see this oftentimes where they are working towards their thought process or their ideology and not necessarily towards, just a baseline of data, right? They're looking to find things that help their thought process. So, and in this case, it's about representation, and it started off with women, and then it became a much bigger thing here. So yeah, they're into video games here. There's a lot of studies here, and there's a toolkit associated with this. Okay.
So I've already clicked on that because I have to be prepared on these things.
I love it. Thank you.
So essentially, representation in video games. So the toolkit, when you click on that, it's a PDF, and this is what you have come up. I don't know whether that's showing up or not. Hang on. 2 ticks.
That's okay.
Let me press the buttons.
Yeah, sure. It's got a nice. And if it doesn't pull up for you, I'll get it all scored away on my end. It's no big deal.
Would you mind? Is there?
Yeah. Not at all.
It's not showing up for me.
I'll get you. Just stand by.
Right. Which link do you need pulled open?
I got you.
So
Okay.
it's on this page, and it's this link here.
Yeah.
I got you, Phoenix. The Gina Davis Institute of Gender and Media. Go to mine, Phoenix, please. Right here. It talks about the gaming gap. Right here, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
why don't you guide us through this?
So basically, read this if you want to be miserable. That's the long short.
Well, let's read a few of these real quick. The gaming gap: 62% of adults and 76% of youth in the U.S. say they play video games. Women make up just under half of gamers across global markets. 46% of American gamers, 47% of European gamers, 48% in mobile. Okay, this is where, man, have I talked about this a lot on this channel. We see this data all the time right here. That this is the ESRB says half of gamers are women, but this is where it is. In mobile games, 74% of women are playing daily. That's where that number is skewed right here, because they throw mobile games in, and we know that it's almost the complete opposite of that right here. But women in marginalized communities are underrepresented or inauthentically represented in games that they play. Female gamers are 13% less likely to say they relate to characters that match their gender. 62% of characters are over-sexualized. 48% say there are not enough strong female characters in video games. So half of those women say that right there. And they say the good news is that most players agree that inclusivity in games benefits all audiences, which I'm always intrigued by statements like this, LD, where they say the good news is that most players agree that inclusivity in games benefits all audience. Because when you put together a poll like this, and you have a blanket statement, and you ask somebody, you say, is inclusivity in video games good? Well, people are gonna be like, yeah. So that's how those
say no to that.
Right, exactly. That's how you get this data, right? They're very broad questions that can be asked right here. So, but yeah. So you said if you want to go through and feel bad about yourself, by all means, there's a lot of data here, and this is what they have provided. This is their toolkit for representation in video games.
This isn't even the worst document. This one's not
Oh
even the
boy.
worst document, but it's page 3. Opportunities to broaden inclusivity, character development, and narrative design. What you've got here is basically a very condensed version of the next PDF I'll show you later.
Okay.
But there you go. It's a step-by-step process here. So number 1, diversify across character types. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. So you'll have to bear with me.
That's okay. Neither do I. I can't read at all. It's all right. It's quite all right. I'm known for not being able to read. So listen, you're going to fit right in if that's the case.
So make deliberate choices about character identities and follow through with authenticity. I'll show you how they get this authenticity in a bit. Creates multi-dimensional characters. So pay attention to accents. I mean, like, we all know examples of flipping bad voice acting, but paying particular attention to accents, affectations, and cadences. These tools help build diversity, but to require cultural sensitivity. There's a lot of this, like, if you scan through this, there's a lot of these sort of fluffy words.
Yes, identities, and yeah, we're gonna so diversify across character types, create multi-dimensional characters, know the characters' identities, know how characters' identity interact with world building, use gameplay mechanics that challenge stereotypes, eliminate sexual violence, broaden characters' body types to tell new stories, hire balanced development teams. Don't hire the best teams. Just hire balanced teams. That's
essentially,
right.
The long and short of it is, this is the most anti-meritocracy kind of ideology that you can find, as far as I'm concerned. There's just there is so much here. This is why I think everyone needs to just scroll through these websites themselves, because there's almost too much to cover. Because, for example, like number 7, broaden characters' body types to tell new stories. Pair unexpected body types and personality traits to help players unlearn stereotypes. Like, without reading too much into this, it's almost as though they're trying to implement a level of subliminal messaging. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's like they're trying to normalize thought patterns for everyone playing games, as though they're trying to use games and use film and use media as a way to reshape the way our brains work and how we see things and how we see people, which I can understand why that would be a direction that they would choose. But at the same time, it's almost like overcorrection. They're doing it too hard, that it becomes so unnatural and so uncomfortable that it wouldn't be causing this kind of backlash if this wasn't so hard with its delivery.
Right. And so I think there's a lot there. And we've talked about why we feel like video games are a huge part of culture. And I feel like they have clung on to that idea that with, you can more or less, as you said, teach and train people based off of the games that they're playing. Anyone who is centrist or leans right knows that traditional media companies, they more or less laugh at games and entertainment as this thing that is, it's for kids, it's for whatever. And when you see a situation like this, they're saying the exact same thing. They're saying, no, it's for kids. That's why we have to be associated with it, because you're going to help them find ways that challenge rigid masculinity, right? And it's a trickle-down effect here. It's a trickle-down effect from the top to the bottom, literally learned as a kid through video games that, hey, masculinity is bad, right? Don't be the best. Hire balanced teams over here. Leaflet, you're seeing this for the first time, and you see kind of what's going on here with this Gina Davis Institute. What are your thoughts as you're seeing all this?
I mean, this is kind of like more of the same of what we expected. I mean, them just taking the data and screwing it up to fit their own means. And it's really annoying because, I mean, I gotta say it, they're appropriating our culture as gamers. I'm just being real. Like, we have our own thing. We had our own thing, our own culture going on, and they're trying to insert themselves into it for their own means, and it's really annoying to me. Because like I've played games since I was a kid, and it's just annoying to see them trying to inject themselves into it for their own political purposes.
There is a gdiplaybook.org, LD. Why don't you tell us about that?
If we can, are we able to put my screen back up? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. Absolutely. I have it pulled up as well,
Thank
Phoenix,
you.
in case you want it. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think that's my screen.
Here, I'll do. Is that maybe Blabs' screen there, Phoenix?
I'm not sharing anything.
Okay. Well, maybe it's
That
go
was
to
okay.
yeah. Go ahead. That's okay. We're working our way through it. Nobody. This is I have my screen shared. We'll just go. I'll guide the ship here, LD. I'll get all this
Thank you.
ready to go. Sure. Okay. So yeah, we're looking at the gdiplaybook.org, which anybody can go to right now and learn about. So this is actually, obviously, as you can see, the pixelated art implies this is for video games here.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it kind of reminds me of like a butchered version of Mario, which would be probably your first two game that you would think of if you're not really into games and you're a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's the bit further down underneath that Gina Davis Institute bit, because that more or less mirrors what is on the About Us page on the other thing, but it's this advisory council. So you've got Roblox, there's an irony there. Roblox, Warner Brothers Discovery, Microsoft, Xbox, Activision Blizzard, King. That's probably where they got all of their huge amount of female gamers from. Lego, Paramount, Ubisoft, and even here, like a UK council there. That's actually quite that's an authority over here, the UKIE.
Yeah, this tells you everything you need to know right here.
Oh, it gets worse. If you go down, just underneath there, there's a button that says "Read More."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Click on that,
Oh,
and you've got names.
wow.
So we've got accountability here.
Uh-huh.
So there you go.
I mean,
Right. Okay. So here we go. Warner Brothers. We've got someone called Jessica Durchin. We've got someone called Katie Stone Perez from Xbox. We have got someone called Benjamin Williams from Microsoft. We've got a name from Roblox there, UKIE. Paramount Games. There's names there. Further down, you've got Alyssa Mendoza from Activision Blizzard. Another name from Activision.
Well, and look at that. Look at the titles here. Head of DE&I Business Integration. Right.
Yeah.
The fact that title exists is amazing. Sorry. Yes. Continue, LD.
Yeah. A few further down there, you've got a director of inclusive games and content from Ubisoft. And then underneath, you've got the Chief Diversity, Inclusion, Accessibility and Social Impact Officer from Ubisoft. But what's significant about these people is that these are sitting on a council. So these are people that are actively working with GDI to the point that they've put their names to it. And that section underneath, that paragraph underneath, that is actual statements from some of these people. So that Adrian Leder from Activision Blizzard there, giving their opinion on it. Or the next one along is from Susanna Pollock. And then someone from the Lego Group. We hope this new playbook will aid companies in the gaming industry to consider new ways to treat elements such as historical and cultural context with care, collaborating closely with other experts and third-party organisations to help introduce different, more rounded perspectives and ensure a more diverse play experience, characters and more. I'm excited to see how this can help affect future change in the gaming industry for many organisations.
You know what's amazing about this is when I think of Lego, I really think of diversity, equity, and inclusion. that's
When I
that was
think of
my
Lego, I think of plastic.
Yeah, I was like, man, I really am interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion here from the Lego Group of all things.
Can I just mention something on this entire thing?
Of course.
It's that, like, they have this obsession with this there are this percentage of people in this like there are this percentage of people in the world distributed, so every single thing has to have that exact same percentage, right? And it's like, who cares about equal diversity in everything, right? Let people like what they like and let it be natural. And it's like, all of this is so artificial. They're trying to make the numbers more like how they want it, how they view reality. And it's like, things are not, if you just let things go as they are, if more girls get into gaming and more girls do want that, it's going to rise to the top. Whatever's the most wanted is what you're going to get. And it's just so annoying that they keep trying to push like this. They try to take this space that is mostly male oriented, or take it, or the opposite, and then they try to just inject it so it's like exactly 50-50. It's got to be exactly 50-50. It's got to have exactly this amount of percentage of Black people, this percentage of this kind of people, and it's so annoying to me because people have different interests. Sorry.
But
somebody
also,
raised about
they
that.
come up with all of these percentages and say, oh, well, this amount of people have said we want so and so and X within our games. But what they're not showing you is a curated list of people that made up that figure. So, for example, they might be based in Silicon Valley and be going to their local university in California to get all of these results. What always annoys me with studies like this is they take a pool of people that's too small. Now, I understand that getting 1 million people to fill out a survey is not really a realistic thing to do. But at the same time, if you're going to a very skewed area, an area that leans a very specific way politically, then you're going to get skewed results. And that's why I feel that a lot of this is being based on they've come up with a conclusion and then found research or conducted research to support the conclusion rather than a hypothesis.
Well, this continues here as there's actually a GDI playbook, and I pulled this up because I saw that's next on your notes here, over here. Obviously, we understand kind of why this is all ridiculous and kind of the thought policing nature of all this. But they're giving everybody a full playbook on how. Yeah, well, you can see right here, it's divided into 5 topics here, which we call keys to help you craft engaging and meaningful games. Each key includes elements that you can work towards as you explore. Feel free to jump around the playbook here. Now, there's some interesting things that you did in your research that you wanted to showcase here, LD. Why don't you tell us about that?
The thing is, on this, it's basically, this is, in my opinion, a document that is meant to compel the reader or the developer to feel and think in a certain way. And it's taken all of the magic out of storytelling by compartmentalizing the person who's reading this and working on a game so that any organic, true, talented storytelling, it comes secondary to tick boxes. Now, within this, as you saw in my notes that I sent over to you,
Yes.
there's 53 pages on this.
Yeah.
So I've had to be quite selective with some of the parts that I was going to show you. So the first one was going to be page 8.
Mm-hmm.
And on page 8, you've got a section on here that says why it matters and mapping your social identity. And then you scroll down to page 9 and you've actually got an actual tick box sheet.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing and horrible at the same time.
And this is what Xbox and Ubisoft and all of those other companies who are on this council, they've contributed to this and they have helped implement it. So imagine you're a developer and you've come up with this amazing story, and then before you're even allowed the right to think of that story or put that story forward, you have to go through this. What's your age? How do you identify with your age? How does this identity shape your perspective? So we've got age, body size, disability, physical, emotional. So they want your emotional disabilities as well.
Mm-hmm.
Developmental, mental health, neurodiverse, education, ethnicity, gender, language, national origin. That one irks me. Race, religious or spiritual affiliation, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic status. Now these irk me. Now you take a look at this. Like, I can only give myself as an example in this, right? I'm the most mixed race person that I know. Um, but I've lived in East Anglia in England my whole life, right? I've been brought up in an atheist household. Now, my grandfather was a Tamil Hindu, right?
Okay.
You go through this, you might as well be asking me to give an authentic Sri Lankan experience on life. Like that's how I would end up diving into this. Or you could say, oh right, okay, LD over there, she's got Hindu blood. Let's ask her to have all of the input on input stuff just because I've been around my granddad's a few times when he was still alive. So it doesn't work like that. You can only put forward what you can put forward, but that doesn't mean that your own experiences in life and the people that you've met can't shape your own thoughts in storytelling. Like just because, for example, I'm not German doesn't mean that I couldn't write a really interesting story about people in Germany. That's my random silly example there.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
But why should people have to go through this tick box exercise before they're allowed to tell a story? It baffles me. But again, this isn't even the most egregious part. Like this is ridiculous. That
Well, real quick, I while you were talking, LD, I downloaded this social identity mapping here. Okay, and it's a Google Doc which allows you that you can actually request access to edit and such. And in doing so, I looked at who to request the access from, and I found the person that you actually need to request access from to get. And
oh my
it's
God, I've not even found that.
well, I'm on fire today. I'm a master researcher while we're talking. And the person who set this up, this GDI playbook over here with the sexual orientation, is a lady named Diane Urban. And she is on the New York Council Chair and Senior Gaming Advisor of the Gina Davis Institute here. And Diane Urban is an established consultant in digital media, entertainment, and education. She holds a master's degree in technology, innovation, and education from the Harvard Graduate School of Education and a bachelor's degree from Duke. Additionally, she is certified in diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. Diane has led development of award-winning mobile and web-based games, not AAA, but mobile and web-based games for prominent clients like General Mills, the cereal company of all things, Pokemon, Disney Publishing, and Disney Citizenship. She is the co-creator of Coffee LLC, the Coalition of Families for Inclusion. So look, we all see what's happening here. While ironically, Diane Urban is the least diverse person I've ever seen in my entire life. It's amazing.
Page, isn't she?
Wow. Sorry, LD, I'm sorry. This is just absolutely amazing. The only thing that would be great about her is if she was behind the classic game Chex Quest from the 90s, which was General Mills product. But that's a deep cut that nobody else would get. I'm sorry, LD, please continue on our wonderful journey here as sometimes I go on side quest.
Yeah. Oh God, no! Don't talk to me about going off topic. I badly go off topic. Like if ADHD was a person, it's me. So Mafia 3 on page 14,
Okay.
they have as an example of. Now I noticed yesterday you was talking about Mafia 3 as being one of the games from 2016 that you picked for this day in gaming.
Yeah.
And Mafia 3, because I was going to do a video about Mafia the Old Country a few months ago, and I ended up boring it off. But Mafia 3, from the research that I did, is not a well-regarded game within the series because it really, really strayed away from what the core story was. And they're using it as an in-game example of a success story. Now, I understand it did sell fairly well, but a lot of people have real issues with the storytelling in it. But
Well,
yeah,
as-
they've got this.
Yeah, NPR, which we know is an incredibly slanted outlet, NPR, how one video game unflinchingly tackles racism with history
Yeah.
and raw interactions. Huh? All right.
Yeah, so Mafia 3's team featured a black queer senior writer and a diverse team that's prioritized historical accuracy and authentic representation of the 1960s. So they're not allowed to do that, though, by the tick boxes above because they weren't born in the 60s. Well, they might have been, but they weren't teenagers then.
That's right.
And historical accuracy and authentic representation of the 1960s in the US South, leading to a powerful backdrop for the story. And then you can click on that link if you want to see what that's about. But the thing that it gets even worse, like page 16. Page
Yeah,
16 has a whole
I-
section that
I thought this was amazing with 16 and 17 in general. As I was looking through your notes here, this is nuts here.
page
But
17, like you'll see that I highlighted something because I was so cross about
yeah,
it.
it's amazing.
But yeah, page 17, they're talking about challenging develop narratives and characters that actively challenge identity-based stereotypes and biases. So the thing that you see there is flipping white savior. The white savior trope refers to a character who is commonly portrayed as a Western educated white person who saves primitive people from their ignorant or savage ways of life. It's very preachy, isn't it? For example, this includes stories of explorers who tame barbaric indigenous populations and bring them Western ideas or inventions.
So,
And
I love pointing out hypocrisy, LD here, and the idea that I love that the white savior is something that they're trying to fight against. And I was going to save this towards a little bit later, but I wanted to point out something really quick as just as another side note as I was looking at your information, and it got me thinking, LD. I wanted to learn more about the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media. So I went to this website here, which kind of gives you a rundown of their revenue and assets and things like that, right? And the money that they generate here. And I most notably went down and I was looking at their key employees and officers here. Now, keep in mind, LD, you pointed out the white savior trope here, okay? And as I was looking through, I looked at their key employees here, specifically their 4 salaried employees. What do all 4 of these people have in common here on this diversity, equity, and inclusion group?
Can I answer that one?
Go ahead, Blabs.
They're all white women.
That's right. They're all
Yay.
white women, which means, LD, I'm sure you can tell them, they're all white saviors.
Hooray.
Hooray.
Man, you
the
know, if you.
hypocrisy.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, it's so
Just like-
good. So good. It's so stinking good. It's so good. Sorry, LD. Yes, please continue.
You know, the hypocrisy is astounding. But they also wanted to bore off the hero's journey. That's the next bit underneath. Like, that is one of the most classic, tried and true story telling methods ever. Like, all of the best books, all of the best films, all follow the hero's journey, and they want to bore it off. And no wonder people are getting bored with like video games at the moment if they're all getting rid of that. But here's the next bit on page 17, the
Okay.
damseling.
Okay, can we? I saw this. I spoiled this for myself. LD, your research is phenomenal. Okay, Leaf, I have a question for you, and this is going to tie into what LD was saying here. Okay.
Okay.
Leaf, did you play arcade games in the 80s?
The 80s.
Do you know like any classic arcade games in the 80s?
I've played. I was an arcade kid, if that's what you're asking.
Sure. Okay. Good. Are there any really problematic classic? I'm talking like pretty classic arcade games that you would deem as incredibly problematic.
Classic arcade. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess you mean as in like what they would consider to be problematic?
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair, probably. I've heard people saying that Mr. Game and Watch is problematic.
All right. Oh, that's hilarious. LD, why don't you fill everybody in on the problematic classic game from the 80s that this group finds problematic?
Was it the one I said?
LD, fire away. Which game is it?
Bloody Double Dragon. They're saying
Wait,
Double Dragon.
oh,
It's
Double
the bloody
Dragon.
Double Dragon. Apparently, the guts punch to Marion is damseling. So they're like, oh well, this is a massive problem. In fact, let me read to you what they said, because this is outrageous, right? Double Dragon is a 1987 beat-em-up arcade game that opens with a muscular man in a tank top punching a woman named Marion in the stomach and carrying her off screen. The protagonist, or if the game is being played cooperatively, two protagonists, then emerge from a closed garage and begin fighting the villain's henchmen. The ultimate goal of the game is to rescue Marion, who is the protagonist's girlfriend. In this example, the significant female character exists solely to motivate the actions of male characters. Now, I take big issue with this, because if you was walking around an arcade in the 80s and you see that screen come up, you're taking a look at all of the screens, you're taking a look at Street Fighter, and then you see this over in the corner, and you see some bloke do something so villainous as to beat up a restrained woman and then drag her off, you're going to be disgusted by that. That's like classic. That's like setting up a villain to really make you really. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to really fucking piss someone off, punch a good-looking woman. Like, it's
That's right.
Basically, I'll have to read my notes. I wrote down on this because otherwise it's just gonna not make sense. I won't be coherent. But Double Dragon, 1987. That's one of the most successful and beloved arcade franchises ever, and it received its own movie in roughly 1994 and a TV series in an era before gaming was even really properly mainstream like it is now. And Marion is one of the most iconic damsels in video game history, and that gut punch is what made it so visceral and eye-catching, because it caused people to have emotional feelings like, bloody hell, what the bloody hell are they up to on there? Oh, we're not having none of that. So basically, that was created to shock players and made them want to play the game. But GDI thinks that's abhorrent. GDI thinks that's unacceptable, because why can't Marion stick up for herself, eh? So the quote on there is, in this specific example, the female character exists solely to motivate the actions of the male characters. And that there is proof that they do not understand storytelling, or potentially never even played Double Dragon. Because the point is that it makes you want to kick the shit out of the villains, doesn't it? Like, if you've ever played it, it makes you want to kick the shit out of the villains.
Yes, it fires you up.
They've just degraded and beaten a woman in front of you. So how they don't get that is astounding. And in a way, it's actually like the fact that it makes you want to go and save a woman. Surely that's actually anti-sexist.
Yeah, I would say it makes you want to be a man. It makes you want to protect, which, hey, and I guess in their instance, that's problematic. The idea of wanting
You're not
to protect.
playing the character, are you?
Right.
You're not playing the character that does the punch.
Right.
You're playing the character that is appalled by it and wants to do something about it.
You know, the way you framed that, LD, was really interesting, because I had actually never really thought of it like that. The idea that it was meant to shock and kind of get the player to want to play the game. I never really thought of it like that. I was just like, well, there's the story. You know, like girl gets punched, boy wants to save girlfriend. That's story right there. But I think the way you phrase that is actually really interesting. The idea that, it does shock, because at its core, even as a little boy playing Double Dragon and as a, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, you recognize that you should be there to assist and help and protect. And at the end of the day, you just don't punch a woman in the stomach. And if that does happen, it's time to beat that ass. That's something that everybody can agree with, right?
Yeah. And the way it's put forward is, you have to think, when these developers are creating these games, the way that arcade caps make their money is they need kids to come and put their money in it. So you need to you need to put something on that screen that's going to be shocking enough to encourage kids to come and put their quarters in that machine. And what better way to attract someone over than have your screen showing something really, really quite shocking?
I'm amazed that Double Dragon from 1987 or whatever it is the example that they want to use, right? Like that's it. That's the game that the Gina Davis Institute is like. That's problematic right there. Is from like, I don't even know if Data East, the game that made that, like even the company that made that even exists anymore. Like, legit question. I have no idea.
I don't know. It's I'm trying to think who the developers are that do all of the games at the moment, and I'm pulling a blank at the moment. But
yeah, it's all right.
What it reminds me of is it's probably not entirely relevant, and this is going to be you having to be like, don't go off on this tangent. But
no, it's okay.
I dare say, like, the Gina Davis Institute better not be watching stuff like Edge and Lita's live sex celebration in the WWE, or watching most wrestling storylines, because they, from the Attitude Era, they're just not gonna mesh well with that, are they?
Or maybe they shouldn't watch the 1988 movie starring Gina Davis, Earth Girls Are Easy.
Oh my God.
Just going to throw that out there. Maybe the Gina Davis movie, Earth Girls Are Easy, is not the best. Like, that would be like me starting my institute and being like, in 1988, there was a movie starring Jim Carrey and Gina Davis called Earth Girls. I think Jim Carrey was in it, called Earth Girls Are Easy. And we're going to point to this as the poor representation of aliens. like it's so fucking ridiculous. Oh my God, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. It's amazing. LD, please continue.
You've got, if we move on away from Double Dragon, because that bit just made me rage.
Yes, that's amazing.
So page 18.
Okay.
They're describing a counter narrative. But it's not, as this describes pretty much basically this counter narrative at the moment, they're calling it a counter narrative, but when it's being implemented by every AAA game being developed at the moment, it's no longer counter narrative, is it?
It's the narrative. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I see what you're going here.
And then I've put my notes here. The why it matters. Let me see where that's gone. So, narratives that assume white masculine norms contribute to a cycle of underrepresentation. In other words, they continue to marginalize those who are already marginalized and reinforce the idea that certain identities are by default normal, while others are less important or even invisible. Counter-narration interrupts dominant narratives by focusing on new, diverse points of view. The strength of narratives that center on the point of view of marginalized identities lies in their ability to reimagine, resist, and remake ideas, and that makes for more engaging games. Like, they're not fucking engaging though anymore, are they?
Yeah, engaging to who? Like, I think that's they're engaging because we tell you they're engaging. Like, it just gobbledygook, speak here.
But if you think about it, like, look at fucking Dragon Age, the Veil, the Veil Guard, and Concord, and I know it's a little bit littler and European made, but Dustborn. Like, these are all games that have clearly followed the directives set out in the GDI playbook. And then look how much money they're losing the industry. Like, I'd love to tally up the total amount of money lost in the gaming industry due to following the policies and ideologies set out within this playbook.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we always like to play a game here. How many people are playing the game right now? And you mentioned Dustborn in particular. How many people do you think are currently playing the hit 2024 game with outstanding representation, Dustborn? Let's go play this game really quick. Leaflet. How many people are playing Dustborn on Steam right now?
I'm gonna go with 69.
Oh, wow, that's very sexual.
Generous.
Congratulations.
It's a great
excellent
number.
Blabs.
Oh,
how many
2.
people? 2. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm guessing 2.
Okay. And LD, how many people
I'm
are playing
gonna go.
Dustborn right now?
I'm going with a big fat fucking 0.
Oh, shit. Well, closest without going over is actually Blabs. The number is 3 right now. 3 people.
That's
playing.
bad.
But it does check the
hit.
box. Guys, ladies, it is story rich, and it does have all sorts of representation in it right now. So that's good. And by the way, guys, let's be very clear. 83 people played this game at its peak. So
That's astronomical.
there's the
Wow.
modern audience right there. This is who the Gina Davis Institute is creating games for right there.
I mean, they've
Those
really
83
made their
people.
money back, haven't they?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go. Let's go
thinking
back
about,
to.
though, with the whole
Oh yeah,
thing?
leave.
It's that like they kind of perform like a virus if you think about it. They have like no choice, right? Because they have no choice but to force this on everybody because they can't make their own things and make money. So they have to like embed themselves into like a company and destroy it from the inside. And then when that company blows up, they move on to the next one, just like a virus.
Slowly but
And
surely.
then, and then it all gets so bad that Saudi Arabia swoop in and buy it all up.
That's right. Pay them big Saudi bucks right there. Okay, so we've seen the introduction, and next on your notes, page 25. What's going on there?
Yeah, so basically they've got this whole section called do you unconsciously dehumanize certain types of characters, which I found hugely ironic considering that this whole playbook is about dehumanizing people making the games and reducing them to tick box traits.
Oh my God, it's
And-
amazing. It's
So-
amazing.
So basically I thought, do you know what, this is 53 pages and everyone watching this can really easily access this and trawl through it because I really feel like I want as many people as possible to go through this book, go through the websites and really get your head around what has been pushed. And then all of a sudden you'll start, pattern recognition will start going off. You'll see it everywhere. You'll see it in every game you've probably played in like the last maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's absolute madness. But essentially what you've got here is, and I hate to use this word, but the woke Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's a set of commandments of what thou can and cannot do. And it reads to me very much like a religious text because it's been purposefully written in an indoctrinating way, as it's constantly positively reinforcing their radical values whilst degrading any semblance of what normality would have been a few years ago.
I think the most interesting about this is I'm looking at these sources here, and takethis.org is a source. Like, and going back, that's one of their partners over there that they had.
Yes.
That was one of their initial partners here. And take this, as we know, they are insane, absolutely insane. And so they, like in this instance, they reference this article over here. So I went and I pulled this up as well over here. They're alienating your core demographic over here. Like, this is wow. Like, yes, we know that this was bad, but we talk about in your video, you mentioned Sweet Baby Inc. several times and how they're more like they're a product of this thinking, of this thought process here.
Yeah.
Because but I'll let you go into that a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Gina Davis Institute was, as we said earlier on, it was founded in 2004. Sweet's Baby was founded in 2018. So you've had that's 14 years there of this already existing to then create a need for a consultancy arm to then come in and act almost as enforcers of this ideology. Because the difference would be is you might have like a CEO or a senior member of staff who are on the council of GDI, but what you then need is a company like Sweet Baby Inc. to come in and basically hold the whip to make sure that everybody is playing their role and following the tick box exercises and making sure that you have characters in games that don't make sense and don't fit. It's very much like they've seen what they perceive to be an issue, which I personally, and I'm sure many people would disagree, was that severe of an issue, and they're overcorrecting it. to the point of alienating almost the entirety of their audience. And then they're backing up all of their results with, oh, well, this 100 people in the center of Los Angeles actually agree with us. Oh, yeah, I'm
Right.
sure they fucking do.
Right. Consider your source over here. It's funny because as I continued to scroll down here, I was looking at this and it says it talks about the hypersexualization and unrealistic body portions, and it says the female presenting characters. By the way, female presenting characters, not female, but the female presenting characters. This might include tiny waist and wide hips, disproportionately large breast and or butt, and disproportionate long legs. Male presenting characters might appear unrealistically muscular, physically large in stature, and have a chiseled jawlines and uncountable abs. I feel like what they're really asking is for every video game character to look like this. Like they want everybody to look like that. Thank you. There we go. I knew we had something back there, but it's true. How crazy is that? We have there. It always comes back to Destiny here. LD, please continue.
So I think one of the main things is like, I mean, I've been through quite a lot of this playbook, and it's got sections on LGBTQIA plus blah 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 blah. And like you say, body types, hypersexualization, but basically anything that you can possibly think of, they've got it discussed in here. But I'm seeing a big problem in the sense that, first of all, I think we've been too short-sighted as a community in going solely after Sweet Baby Inc. without, like, I found this purely by accident. So I didn't sit there and think, do you know what? I wonder how Sweet Baby Inc., based up in Canada, come up with all of this. It never occurred to me to think more deeply on it until I came upon this by accident. But then I'll go on, for example, X, and then I'll search Gina Davis Institute, and then you've got Grok coming up with lots of tweets quoting Gina Davis Institute as evidence for things. So even on X, Elon's playground, there's loads of information on there, and I've just never spotted it before. It is so entrenched into everything that me as an individual, I'm not sure how we could possibly fix this. Short of having another video game crash, and I'm not just talking about the video game crash of 1983,
Right.
or like the mid-90s console market crash. Subscribe to Lady Arcade if you want more bollocks on that.
That's right.
But I think short of having quite a severe crash now would be the only way that we would be able to get any of this fixed, because it's so deep in there. Like, I don't know how we could possibly course correct with this, because even though we've got a different administration in America that seems to be affecting the entire world about it, I don't think it's going far enough, because unless you've got some kind of higher authority, and bearing in mind in America you are very much set up that corporations can essentially run amok with no repercussions is the word that I'm after. Yeah, how do we fix this? I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think an entire crash is something that will need to happen for this to ultimately course correct yourself. It's like, it's like the Great Flood with Moses, right? You go in and you take the best two games from each console.
Yeah,
and then
we
you
go in and
flood
we
the
take the
entire
Chinese market, we take the South Korean market, and we get all the Black Myth Wukongs and all the Wu Changs, or I suppose not so much Wu Changs, but Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blades and all of these external markets that don't seem to, like Expedition 33.
Right.
I think a lot of the problem comes when a company starts floating on the stock market. I think that's where a lot of these issues come in. Like, and also to an extent, this is American politics that seems to be flooding the world. Essentially,
this isn't. But to be clear, this is LD. This is not American politics. This is Californian politics.
Yes,
right?
I agree with you. This
is one tiny little space in this whole earth that is just flooding, and because once again they control entertainment, and Phoenix, our technical director, says this all the time. You cannot rely on Hollywood. You can't rely on Activision. You can't rely on Xbox. You can't rely on these people. You have to build alternatives. That's the only way that this is going to happen. Once again, that's what we're looking to do. That's what we're building here at Side Scrollers, which is great alternatives to the insanity that is happening. LD, you've done some outstanding work. And I wanted to point out one more thing I noticed while we were looking at this website on the GDI playbook.com. I just found a lot of irony on their website here. As you look at the players that are used, the models, the examples of video games. Leaflet, tell me if you feel like there's anything that is missing on all the pictures here. We have a couple folks here who are playing their Wii's. Looks like Blabs. What's the phrase you may use for them?
Shit.
I believe Waterhead is the
Yeah,
correct.
that's the one.
Okay,
I was like,
goddamn,
shit.
Phoenix. That's ridiculous and very mean. All right, so we have here, but as you scroll down, you have these other examples of people here. Do you, Leaf? Is there
Have you
anybody
clicked
that
on those?
I have not clicked on them.
This is an interactive version of the playbook.
Oh, okay. We'll need to look at this, but a little bit deeper. But Leaflet, let's look at this on the surface. Is there anything that's missing here in these 5 or 6 pictures, including the one up here, that you think should be included potentially on here? Labs?
It's kind of hard for me to see. It's a little.
Yeah,
Okay.
it literally went blurry as soon as you asked
Okay.
us.
Well, allow me to clue you in. There's not a single straight white male in any of these pictures. You have the gay couple here, right? You have the white guy here that has his limb taken off over here, right?
I mean, he can still be straight though.
That's true. That is
Because he's
true.
missing
Blabs.
a limb doesn't mean he's not straight.
That's right. Yes, that is
You
true.
lost your arm, you're gay now.
That's
The limbless are gay.
That's right.
I'm not going to say where my mind went on that.
Well, look, we've taken up an hour of your time, LD. You've done some outstanding work, and we hope that everybody goes and watches your video. You have a couple different channels. We have the Lady Decade channel, which I encourage everyone to go subscribe to, and you said you have the new arcade channel as well.
Yes, very imaginative name for the channel of Lady Arcade.
Nice.
So yeah, that's literally because YouTube doesn't like me flippy floppy between modern culture and retro gaming, and I enjoy retro gaming too much to not want to make content on it. So I just ended up making a bespoke channel, which I'm trying to make as apolitical as possible as well, in fairness, but just because politics and gaming is getting on my tits, but I need to talk about it. So
Well, I listen. We started our show here with the intention of just sticking to games, and it just became more and more apparent that the industry was so fucked up. And what you're pointing out is incredibly true. I encourage everyone to go check out LD. Thank you so much for hanging
Links
out
in the
with us today.
description below.
Yes, great stuff. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the show another time.
thank you. Oh, it was
great meeting
lovely.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining.
All right, you guys can find Lady Decade's channel. Once again, link is all down below. I appreciate her popping. Your dad said you should hit the subscribe button. Don't disappoint Dad.